Dawn in the North Sea doesn't begin with brilliant sunshine. It begins with a swirling haze of mist, a bone-chilling cold that cuts through the skin, and the roar of waves crashing against the boat like a warning from the depths of the ocean, where the boundary between sky and water is erased by a pale, insipid snowfall. A legend persists in the minds of even the most fearless villains. It's not the schools of red salmon dancing in the river, nor the easily lured cod.
Got it moving. Where do you want it? Right here. Secure it. We got a big one here. Get it secured before the next swell. Pull, pull. She's almost clear. Got it. Incredible. Look at that.
It was a real shadow at the bottom of the ocean. A flattened, monstrous creature, perfectly camouflaged beneath the mud and sand. Passing the strength adult down with frigid, take ajidi, flound. Imagine you're standing on a slippery ship's deck, surrounded by stormy waves. Your fingers numb from the sub-zero temperatures, but your heart pounding like a raging storm.
Keep the pace up. We need to clear this deck. Watch out for the lines.
The fishing line, as strong as a chain, is slowly sinking to depths hundreds of meters below sea level. Down there, where sunlight never reaches, lies a completely different world. A world of breathing applications, of dangerous solid rocks that will return, and also home to flounder. They are not simply fish.
Wow, look at that. Woo! Incredible. Keep it coming up. We got him. Yes, look at the size of that.
These are walls of flesh, weighing hundreds of pounds, forged over years of enduring ocean currents and harsh cold. To confront them, you need more than just a good fishing rod and a sensitive line. Most importantly, you need an iron will and a foundation prepared to withstand hours of excruciating muscle pain. The hunt begins now, when the anchor ring is deep in the line and the hook hits the bottom.
Biggest halibut I've ever seen.
Silence enveloped the ship, broken only by the pounding and whistling of the wind through the cabin cracks. All your senses register in the tip of your fishing rod, a gentle touch, or just a wave lapping against the line. No, that's the beginning of a life or death struggle. At a depth of 150 meters, everything unfolds incredibly slowly. The prey, a fresh herring skillfully hooked onto a large floral ring, drifts leisurely along the current, close to the sandy bottom.
It's heavy. Slide it now before it slips back. It's the biggest one yet.
On the boat, every angler was breathing heavily. Fishing for flounder isn't for the faint of heart. These fish are incredibly unpredictable. No matter their size, they don't use a crude weapon like sharks. We'd approach slowly, using mechanical drag to camouflage ourselves against the bottom, then observe. We'd stage, feel the vibrations, and sometimes just use a wide-toothed, deep-sea bait to taste the challenge before deciding on the gold wave.
Look at the size of these beauties. We hit the jackpot today. I know, Captain.
First, you need to click. Just a tiny, almost imperceptible click so small that, without thinking, you'd think it was just a passing wave. But for seasoned anglers, it's the knock of death at the bottom of the ocean. The tension is heightened to the maximum. In butterfish fishing, jerking the rod too early means failure. The circular skirt needs time to spin and become firmly embedded in the fish's mouth as it turns to escape. You have to wait. A second feels like an eternity.
Look at the size of this one. We'll get a good price for it. Make sure you clean it well.
The strategic rod tip was pulled down into the water with terror. The reel began to roar loudly. The metallic friction was a whisper, yet the most exhilarating sound in the world. The super-strong braided line stretched taut like a guitar string, water splashing from the spool due to the intense friction. The fish had swooped down, and it had been tricked. It was hurtling wildly into the abyss, dragging meters of line with it in just a few short seconds.
Okay, pull on my count. 1, 2, lift. Got it. Watch the side.
The real battle begins. At this point, therefore, you have to lock your feet firmly to the deck, grip the rod tightly with both hands, and thrust your entire powerful muscles backward to resist the brutal force from the deep bottom. Imagine trying to pull a car that's flying up from the depths. That's exactly the feeling when you start with a halibut weighing over 200 pounds. Their base can act like an inverted kite underwater. Each reeled-in fishing line comes at the cost of a foul, lingering smell in the freezing winter air of lazy shoulder muscles and swollen hands. The shouts, the waves, the sound of the reels create a gentle, yet exhilarating symphony on the deck. You begin by applying the technique of lifting the fishing rod high with the strength of your back and thigh muscles. Then quickly lowering it and reeling in the line swiftly to maintain tension. There can be no delay, not even a second. If the line slackens, the anxious halibut will immediately use its stiff head to shake itself free. Or it will lunge straight into the sharp coral reefs at the bottom to cut the only line connecting it and you. Your mind begins to ache. The pain seems to be doubling, but the monster below shows no sign of exhaustion. Every time you reel it up about 10 meters, it executes a swift, devastating dive, plunging straight back to the bottom, wiping out all your previous efforts. The reel hums coldly. This is no longer a simple game. This is an extreme test of skill, a battle where whoever loses the fight first will fail. You must feel every movement of the fish with your fingertips, predicting its direction. After nearly an hour of relentless tug-of-war, the reel finally gained the upper hand. The reels were reeling in more line than being reeled out. The rod tip was no longer bobbing precariously against the water's surface. Beneath the blue ocean waves, a dark shadow began to fade. At first, it was just a dark streak, allowing it to expand into the water's color. But as the distance narrowed to 15 meters, then 10 meters, everyone on the boat gasped in astonishment. It was a living creature. It lay horizontally across a large doorway, its entire body a column, its muscles bulging beneath a layer of camouflaged grayish-brown skin. Two eyes, positioned on the same side at the very top, glared punishingly upwards towards the light, a cold, wild gaze of a ruler of the seabed.
Hold it. Easy
But be
now.
careful. This was the most dangerous moment of the hunt.
Get that secured.
Many inexperienced fishermen had lost their catch right at the boat's edge due to carelessness.
Watch out for that wave. Got it. Bring the net closer.
We're going to recite one last violent poem before executing some frenzied trapping right on the water's surface. A tail trap from a 100-kilogram fish could easily crash the boat, sever fishing rods, or even drag the angler underwater. The captain was ready at the side of the boat, his fist clenched, ready to hurl his specialized hook. Everyone held their breath, holding their positions firmly. The butterfish had now surfaced, its flattened body gently creating white ripples.
Look at the size of this one. Yeah, we'll need the bigger crate over here. Watch out for that swell coming up.
The opportunity arose in those fleeting seconds when the fish, temporarily weary and calm, lay beside the boat. The blacksmith held the fish's head up, preventing it from turning and diving. The harpoon, like a flash of lightning, plunged into the thick, dark flesh of the flounder. The chain connecting to the harpoon tightened. The fascinating creature thrashed wildly, sending up a cloud of foam that reddened the cold water. But any attempt at escape was now too late. With the help of grappling hooks and sturdy hooks, the entire crew on board shouted in unison, using all their muscular strength to pull the roaring fish over the side of the ship and onto the deck. A dense, engine-like movement intensified as the fish responded to the ship. It was over 2 meters long, brilliantly wide, and incredibly thick. The deck shook under the monster's final tail blows. Everyone around erupted in triumphant cheers. Looking at the creatures on the deck, one is not intimidated by the grandeur of nature. This is not just a product of profit. It is proof of the harshness and awe-inspiring beauty of the deep ocean. You have fought, pushed your limits, and been rewarded with one of the most sublime fishing experiences on the planet. As the ship began to turn back in the fading crimson sunset, the chill of the North Sea seemed to vanish, giving way to the warmth of unwavering faith and ultimate satisfaction. The exciting monster-conquering journey was underway, but memories of the punches to be thrown, the roar of the fishing reels, and the shadows cast from the pale blue water would continue to sink deep into the minds of those who had experienced the ocean's wake. Yesterday's victory had faded into the warmth of the cabin, but its lingering taste still burned in the blood of every sailor. As darkness enveloped the desolate expanse of the Arctic, the faint yellow lanterns from the ship's cabins cast their light upon the frozen water, acting as a kind of spiritual solace for the expeditionaries. At the table, alongside glasses filled with warm rum and plates of freshly prepared, succulent white flounder, the stories began to unfold.
Whoa, that's a keeper. Biggest one yet. Look at the size of that thing.
There's an unwritten rule of the sea. The biggest fish is always lost. Experienced anglers whisper about the deadly waters further towards the Arctic Circle, where the sandy continental shelf descends uncontrollably into dark depths thousands of meters deep. There, you'll find flatheads, the true giants of the ocean, with lifespans of up to half a century. We've survived countless icy winters, avoiding tens of thousands of their hooks. The wind blowing in from the land carried the icy breath of millennia-old glaciers. The fishermen quietly stepped out onto the deck, checking each joint and ring on their specialized heavy-duty fishing gear. The thick, 10-pay braided line, the titanium locking tags capable of handling hundreds of characters. And the sharp, handcrafted J-hook rings were strong enough to pierce the rock-hard jawbones of ocean monsters.
This one is huge. Pull harder, I think I got another one.
The further from shore, the more ferocious the waves became. The 12-meter-long fiberglass fishing boat displayed here looked out at something else, a swirling bamboo leaf amidst valleys of waves as high as a two-story building. Each time the boat climbed the crest of a large wave and plunged down into the snow, the icy foam and water slammed against the cabin's glass, creating eerie sounds. Attis dipped Skunna to paint a challenging picture of the terrain. Protective layers of rock beneath the seabed, deep valleys, and here and there, solitary, luminous guardians lying silently at the bottom. These weren't small schools of cod swimming together. These were independent creatures with their own value. The terrain here was very comfortable, if you let it feed and run into the crevices of the rocks.
Cast now, the current is good. Watch the drift on the starboard side.
This time, the bait is a whole, fresh octopus, combined with a piece of fatty salmon oil to spread its aroma far across the cold water. The fishy smell of the bait blends with the salty taste of the sea, creating a wild combination that stimulates the predatory instincts of the beast. When the heavy pull of the line sends it plummeting into the depths, please remember, Yugnotad beneath you gamim of life, and death has officially gone.